Hello everyone, welcome to Learn Overflow. In this video, we'll discuss about today's LeetCode problem. That is my calendar one. This is a medium level problem, and we'll understand what this question is asking us to do and how we easily we can think of finding a solution to questions like this. Okay, so first of all, the question says you are implementing a program to use as your calendar. Okay, so your task is to implement a program. So this is will be our program over here. So this we can use as our calendar. Okay, so that's the task. Now we can add new events. Okay, in calendar, as we know, we add new events if adding the event will not cause double booking. Okay, so if it does, if it don't cause a double booking, then you can add. So what a double booking is? The double booking happens when two events have some non-empty intersection. So if we find the two empty are getting some intersection or the non-empty intersection, there is some moment in common in both the events, then that means that's a double booking. Okay, now if we just check, then it's like the event is represented as a pair of integers that you can say start and end. That's a pair of integer is given to us as an event, and then it says that booking on half open interval that start and till the end, that is less than end. So it's like equal to start and less than end. Okay, so we need to keep remember this thing. Now, so this is the whole idea. Now it says like we need to implement the my calendar. This my calendar is the class we need to implement, and this my calendar constructor is there, which initializes the calendar object. Okay, and further, what it does, it simply there's a function called book. You can see there's a function called that takes two elements like start and end. If this returns true if we can book a calendar, and it returns false if we cannot. If there is a double booking, then we return false. Okay. So that's the whole thing is being said to. Just let's look at a example. Example says the call of the function. Okay. First, this when you see my calendar, so that means that's a call to the constructor is done. Then you see there's a book and book three times is done. So that means it tries to call this function book three times. So that's the how the input is given to us, and that's how we need to interpret it. Now, when my calendar is called, you see there's nothing given as a parameter, so it is blank for us. Okay, when first book is called is called with 10 and 20. So what is 10 and 20? It should be like from starting from 10 till 20 you are booking this slot. Okay, so that's the book you've done, and since previously there isn't any other book, so you are returning true out of this. So that's look, that's the first output is true for us. Okay, then we got another book with 15 and 25. When 15 and 25 is there, so that simply means we should start our booking from 15 and 25. But see, 15 is something that lies between 10 and 20. If our slot is booked from 10 till 20, so that means 15 is already booked, right? So we can we book the slot? No. So that's how that's why we actually return a false in this case. Okay. Next is starts from 20 till 30. Remember, the end is less than end. So whenever 20 is saying book, so that means less than 20 is booked. So in this case, whenever we're trying to book from 20 to 30, we know that 20 is free for us, right? So can we book the slot? Yes, we can book the slot. So we return true. So and we book the slot as well. And for the initial case, when the constructor is called, is returns null. So that you don't need to worry what it actually returns run. So that's the whole understanding of the concept is. Now, how can we actually go ahead and do this? The first thing will be take an list of say a 2D list, a list of arrays. Okay, an array which stores the start and end, and for each of the array element, you just check if it's less than that or not, and ultimately you can find it. What I mean exactly is. First you note down that your first start is like you make an array in the sense like a list of arrays, like a 2D array rather. Okay, you just make a note that this is the start. Okay, 10 is the start, 20 is the end. First notation is done. Next you find 15 and 25. You check like all the values you have in your 2D array. In that, if your start value is less than end or like anyways, if its start value is less than end or its end value is less than end, okay, like if anyone is lies between them, then you return false, else you add the value. Okay, so in 15 and 20 you find that 15 lies between them, so you return false. Next you find 20 and 30, so you add 20 and 30 in our uh, 2D list. Okay, uh, in rather 2D array. But look, in a 2D array, if a 2D array has a fixed number of rows, okay, you need to specify the number of rows. You know the number of columns will be two columns will be there, start and end column, but in number of rows will be fixed. So how we can cover up that thing? We can cover up that thing using an array list of integer arrays. So it will be like a 2D array, fine. Uh, an array, another array will be there, fine. So that's how we would define the stuff. So that will be the pretty much brute force approach. So let's just try to go ahead with this approach. Further we will look for improving this code. How we can actually improve this code is like you are using an 2D, you are using an array list and then array list of integer arrays, right? So whenever you are doing array list of integer array, the thing is, see, you are actually drawing a line like this is a 10 till 20 is a book for us. So tells in 20 is book for us. So next thing will be from 20, like if I just draw it at the beginning, 10 till 20 is book for us. Okay, next 20 to 30 will be booked. Now 15 comes somewhere in between, right? When 15 comes somewhere in between, can we book that? No, we cannot book that. So what we can do, we can improve this by keeping an a tree set, like make it in the form of a tree that 20 is on the top, fine. From 20, 10 to 20 is booked for us. Then uh, rather than this, other timings are free. So if it is like 20 to 30 we need to book, and we need to go ahead, we can book, then move 30 to the top, so we can have a tree set, rather like a sorted set it will be. So we can do that, and then we can keep finding the floor and the sill. Floor and the sill will help us to find the starting and the uh, ending of that. So that can be an improvement to the to our idea. Okay, so that is the main idea. So but first let's just try out our brute force one. Let's see how our brute force one works, and then if we are not satisfied with the brute force approach, we'll try to improve it. Fine, so let's go ahead with that. So there you see our first approach actually works pretty good. So how what we did actually, we did is like took a list of integer, fine, and further what we try to do is like we initialized our calendar variable, the calendar variable, the list of integer calendar as a array list, fine. Further we are going through each of the each of the array in our calendar, like each of the bookings we have till now. So here, what we're trying to do is like if b of 0 is 10, fine, is less than end. So if it's less than end, that means if b of 0 is less than end is 25. So that's true. 10 is less than 25, and we are checking for if the start being 15, fine. Start is 15 over here, and it's less than b of 1. Is less than b of 1, that is 20. 20. So we're checking if the b of 0 is less than our end, okay, and b of 1 is like b of 1 is greater than our start. If that means the start is less than our b of 1, that means that lies in between, like there's lies an overlap. So if that happens, we're simply returning false. Okay, in the other case, if that is not happening, then we simply add our booking, add our start into our booking and return a true, that is our booking is done. So that's the idea. Now how we exactly can improve this is like we can go ahead and say we can use a preset for this. Fine. I'm just changing this code and writing it for you. Okay. So that it becomes understandable to like it becomes understandable. So that's how we improved it. What we did exactly, we were doing the same thing using on less than integer, but here we are using an tree set. Fine. Now, idea being the same. See, like in tree set, we should mention that it should be like each of the like the array we are adding. It should be like based on the starting index. Okay, it should be ordered based on the starting index. I mean the start time of each of the event. Now, what we're doing, we just took a book, like a current booking that we're going to, and then we found the floor and the ceiling. Floor and ceiling are giving us the it's returning us floor and ceiling are arrays. Okay, remember that. So what is doing, we're getting the floor value of the calendar array, like the calendar preset, and the ceiling value of the calendar preset. Okay, so like the top value and the like the already booked range we are finding out. And from that, if we're saying that if start is less than floor of one, that is the uh, end value of the floor. If the start is less than that, then it's false. Okay, if it's less than that, that means we cannot do that. Further, if the ceiling is ceiling of zero, that is the start value of the ceiling is less than our end, that means that two means that we cannot go ahead with the working. And further, we are simply, if the both cases are not working, then we're simply return like adding our value, like adding our stuff to our calendar. Fine. We're simply adding this to a calendar and making a booking and returning true. So see, we have dramatically improved our uh, runtime. Our initially memory was 54 MB and memory remains more or less the same. But we see we have dramatically improved our calendar. Why is it so? We are not checking for each of the bookings and checking for each of the booking and finding whether we have a slot or not. Rather, we are finding out a floor and seal based on the range. How we're doing, see, we're in the floor of not the whole calendar, rather the floor of the booking. Like this booking variable we have, we're just finding out what's the floor value of this booking variable, less than this, and what's the ceiling value, greater than value of this booking variable. So we know the particular range you need to look for, and now we are searching for the value. Okay, so that's the idea. That's a trick we use to just improve our code. And this functionality is not supported by our list, so we had to go ahead with our preset. Preset helps us with this functionality and dramatically improve our runtime. You can see that. So that's the whole idea behind this. Now you can further improve this. You know how you can further improve this? We are using a tree set. Rather than using a tree set, start using a tree map. Tree map up to integers, like start integer and the like the start integer and the end integer. So if you're mapping it directly, then you are not using that array. So you are just improving the particular time complexity a bit more. Okay, and we're working more or less with two exact values, not with the whole arrays every time. See here, if you notice, we are using arrays every time, right? So you can like exactly if you see, we are using arrays. We are using arrays over here. Fine. So how you can improve this? You go ahead with using a tree map for this. So that will improve the solution much further. So that's more or less about this video, guys. I hope I can make you understand how this question works and how you should go ahead and start thinking on this kind of question. Uh, Also, make sure to like this video if you think that this is helpful or can make you understand something. And also subscribe to this channel for regular LeetCode videos like this. Thank you all for watching this video. Hope to see you soon in my next video as well. Thank you.